Alright, in this video we're checking out the ImmersionRC PowerPlay DVR. This is an external DVR, and most people are going to use them with their goggles, like Fat Sharks or some other type. Records in H.264 at 60 frames per second. It is a 720 by 480 resolution video file, and it's about 8 megabits per second. So it's roughly double, well, it's double the frame rate of a Fat Shark DVR, and about double the bit rate. So if you compare it to, say, like the Diamond VTX DVR or any of the other standalone DVRs, I think the Diamond VTX is probably the best one out there. That one is only 30 frames per second, but it has a larger video frame. It's a 1280 by 720 frame, and it's a much higher bit rate at 16 megabits. But the frame rate's only 30 frames per second. So for things like racing, certain types of flying, this 60 frames per second does look better on like Facebook and Instagram versus the 30 frames per second. So if you're looking for better like video for your analog sharing online, this is going to be a pretty good option for you, especially if you want more than 30 frames per second. Now there is another DVR from FXT that I reviewed a while back. There's actually a newer version of that now that has an internal battery. That is also 60 frames per second, a little bit different frame size. I think it's like 640 by 400, I believe. And it's actually a much lower bit rate for 60 frames per second. It's like 5 or 4 megabits, so it's fairly low. So you get the nice frame rate, but the image on that one isn't as nice as this one. Now, as mentioned before, this is basically like a battery goggle replacement plus an external DVR. So they include this adapter here that clips on, I think it clips on like this, onto the back. And then you're going to run your goggle strap through here. And then this will go onto the side of your goggles here. So here's just a Fat Shark Attitude V5. And normally the battery would go in this area here. And then you'd instead run your battery, the goggle strap through this slot here, and it would hang on the side of your head where the battery is, because inside here are actually two 18500 batteries. And I primarily use this as a standalone DVR for recording FPV cameras for my camera reviews. I don't actually use this for with my goggles that I use every day, because I'll explain that here in a second. But here are the batteries that are inside here. The ones that are included are for, I guess, for shipping reasons. They use a lower capacity and a lower quality battery. So for my purposes, this has been fine. In fact, I've used this quite a while on these batteries and actually haven't even charged them yet. But you probably want to upgrade to some higher capacity, newer 18500s, and I'll link some EBLs down in the description. I heard those are pretty good. Those are the ones I use in my X-Lite, and they'll fit this one. And you just charge them via USB-C here on the bottom. It does take a while to charge them all the way up, a few hours, but they do last a while. Now, in terms of how long they'll last, it depends on how power hungry your goggles are. My Sky Zones are extremely power hungry, so they would, on these lower quality batteries in here, drains them pretty quick, like in 30 minutes, and I get low battery warning, and I have to charge these up again. So it really depends on your goggles. Like I said, you should probably replace these and you'll get a longer runtime. So they do include a couple of these cables here so that you can connect this up to your goggles. And so there's a barrel connector here for the power out, and then this is for AV in from the goggles. And then the other side here, you can see this will work with your Fat Shark goggles. So I'm pretty sure the ImmersionRC is the same company as Fat Shark, because all of this stuff is, as you can see, works seamlessly. And this will plug in over here. And you can see it's a very nice fit, and then you can just stick this in through that adapter on the side like so with your regular battery. And then this is, of course, is the screen. I'll show you that here in a second. Now they do include a longer cable if you want to run the cable like to the back of your head or into your pocket, for example. Instead of the side of your head, you have that option. But the thing that's annoying is about the way the connector is here on this side. It's designed specifically for Fat Shark goggles because I try and use them with my Sky Zone. These are the 030s. Where the barrel connector is for the power, of course that fits. That's a standard barrel connector. But the AV out is clear on the other side, so you need some sort of an adapter to run over to the other side. So that is a bit of a bummer. That's why I don't use it. I just use my standard G&B goggle battery here. And when I have tried to do recordings, I don't use the power aspect of the DVR. I just connect up directly to the AV out and and record the analog video that way. Okay, so looking at the rest of the DVR here, you got nothing on this side. You got button here, and I'll also show you the power level of the batteries. You got a button dial function here, AV in, micro SD card here, and your DC out, and your batteries on the back. And so to turn it on, you short press then long press, and you get a beep, and it should power up. And you get your battery indicator here on the upper right. That is not, you're not able to turn that off, which is kind of something that I wish they would give that as an option to turn that off in the firmware, but apparently in this firmware it's not available. Okay, so I have this connected up to the Fat Shark goggles here, and as you can see it's powered on, but there's no video signal, so it gets static. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in something so we can see what the screen image looks like. Okay, so you can see here, as soon as the goggles turned on, the battery went from 100% to 20%. So it does drain, and you can tell that the batteries in here are not very good quality. But you can see here is the image here. It's a pretty nice image. I don't recall the exact size of the screen. It's about like 2.5 inches. But yeah, it's a pretty high resolution screen. Good colors. No complaining. I'm going to be using this monitor for camera reviews in the future. You've probably actually seen a couple of them already on my channel, but because this screen's a pretty good screen, pretty good quality, it's actually good for use on camera for these type of videos. Okay, so to record the videos coming in, you just press the top of this button here. It's a dial. You just tap that and you'll get a beep, and then you'll see this little recording blinking red light here, and it's indicating that it's recording. And to stop the recording, you just tap the button again, and you'll have 2 beeps, and now it's not recording anymore. Okay, so to get into the menu, you're going to short press the power button here to bring up this menu. This is the DVR menu. If you short press the button again, it'll go to the top, and you can select between the DVR menu and the general menu. And press this dial button here to go into that menu, and then you can navigate down with the dial and then use that to select. So I'm going to get out of this. Let's see, press this button here to basically exit out, go back into DVR, and then let's go into the playback menu. That's what we're mostly interested in, and here is the file that we just recorded. And you can go into the file by pressing the jog dial. And you can see it's playing right now, and you see a little blue icon says it's playing. If you push the dial to the right, it'll go 2x speed, 4x speed, 8x speed. And if you want to pause the video, you press the dial again, and it will pause. And then if you want to go backwards, you press to the left, and you go 2x, 4x, or 8x backwards. It's a pretty short file, so it just actually it went through the speeds too quickly there. So that's how you navigate, and to get out, you just press the power button again, then I'll exit out of the menu. Okay, so that should be all the functions, and then to turn it off, you short press and then long press again, and it should power off. So that's pretty much it. Pretty basic. I think it's pretty versatile because you have the batteries here, although I recommend getting better ones. For me, as a Sky Zone goggle user, this isn't particularly that useful as something I want to put on my goggle strap because of the way the cable is here. Although, in theory, I could possibly open this heat shrink up here, and I'm sure it's just soldered on, and I could just extend this to the other side. I'm pretty sure that's probably not going to be too difficult, but the fact that it's designed specifically for Fat Shark goggles is a little bit annoying. Anyway, overall, I like this product. I will be using this, as I said, for FPV camera reviews. I'll be seeing this on my channel quite a bit. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.